Hello everyone, thanks for taking time to come watch the Felco Solutions video on Windchill index searching. This is the second part of our Windchill index searching, and we're going to cover advanced search. Quick rundown on our agenda. We're going to talk about how do you enable advanced search, what are index searches, where can you perform keyword searches, and then what really separates out the idea of index searching and keyword searching: operators. I actually created a document that covers all of the operators and ideas that connect our keyword searches, and I'm going to put a link to that document in the description of this video here on YouTube. An index search is performed against all attribute values and contents of document files, or in short, all of the things that you see on your CAD parts information page. Solar indexes those so that you can perform searches against them. From a document standpoint, it's the same idea. In this case, we're using PDFs, and all of what we call terms and phrases that you see on that PDF are indexed so that you can perform searches on those values. If we wanted to do a search on reproduction, there it is, reproduction, we could do that if we wanted to. Now, a few key things that I want to point out. PDF indexing is out of the box. Creo drawing indexing has to be configured, and you cannot, repeat, cannot index non-Creo data drawings. But that doesn't mean you actually can't index them in a different way. What we could do is publish those non-Creo PTC objects as PDF from the publisher in Windchill, and then index those PDFs so that you get the same functionality that you would see for PDFs or Creo drawings. To get all of the benefits out of Windchill index searching, you must first turn on advanced search. This is typically done by the Windchill administrator. You can find it under Site, Preference Management, and Search. And then at that point in time, you'll find search mode, and you have the ability to turn on advanced searching. Keyword searches. They are broken down into two concepts: terms and operators, and there are actually two types of terms. Something called a single term, which is essentially a group of characters without having any spaces in between them. So like you see here, steel and Atlanta. And then a phrase, which is typically surrounded, like it says here, by double quotes so that you search specifically for that phrase. Now, we'll do this a little bit later on, but multiple phrases and or multiple terms can be combined with what we call Boolean operators, and that will be a part of our operators lesson that you see here. You can perform keyword searches in two spots. Up at the very top right, where we typically see our search, what I like to call the Google search, in this case it's the global search, you can perform keyword searches there. Also, where we go in and typically see our advanced search button, where you see keyword search, you can obviously put in any of your terms and operators that we'll cover here in a little bit. One thing to be aware of while we're going to talk around keyword searches: the ability to add criteria to our keyword searches becomes a vital part of actually getting the data results that we want. And I'm going to show you examples of that. So now from inside of Windchill, let's go ahead and get into our keyword searches and our operators. And just like you saw on the PowerPoint slides, the first thing we'll look at is the ability to perform keyword searches here up top in the global search. Now, that's pretty simple stuff. Most of us know how to do that. The only thing that's different when you have Solar or Windchill indexing search on is that you actually have the ability to perform attribute searches. So type in Omaha. I have a bunch of attributes that are Omaha from a facility standpoint. So here are all my parts that have Omaha as a attribute for a facility. Let's go ahead and look at it from advanced search. So from within advanced search, again, same thing, type in Omaha. And this time, we'll change a little bit about it so we can see a little bit different result. We'll say search, and you'll see all of my objects that were made at the Omaha facility. So pretty straightforward. Up top from a global search standpoint or from the advanced search, whether it's name or number or attribute, not a big deal, pretty easy. But now let's change this a little bit and get into some of the operators that we're going to use to give us some pretty different results. The first one that we're going to use is the idea of OR. I have a bunch of searches that have already been saved that just kind of make it easier for myself to navigate around. We'll take a look at this a little bit detail here in just a second. The first one we're going to perform, like I just said, was OR. And really what it is space. Now I could pick the link here or the button and it'll actually do the search, but we're going to actually pick the edit button so we can see a little bit more details about what that search does. So what I'm looking for here is part number or this part number, and it's a CAD doc. The only reason I included some of the criteria in a lot of these is just so we only get the latest and greatest of whatever parts we're looking for. So this part number or it's a space, so space that number. Here's search, and here's my result. Now again, we're looking for part number, name number. Let's do that in a little bit different way. This time, instead of number, let's do it from an attribute standpoint. What is the attribute we're looking for? In this case, we want any object or any CAD object that is made in Omaha or Kansas City. There's our search. Here's Omaha, KC, and again, if we sort it, you'd see Omaha or KC there. This is the OR operator. The next operator are quotes, and really what it is, it's an exact search. So here's our exact phrase quote search. Go ahead and hit the edit button, and what you're going to find is I'm looking for ISO 2768. I want it to exactly match that. Go ahead and hit the search button, and it gives me my result. Now, in this case, where did it get ISO 2768 from? I'll go ahead and hold my mouse over my published thumbnail. Let's go ahead and open up Creo View. And what you'll see, as soon as Creo View opens up, is that you will be able to find, and what you see here is ISO 2768. Windchill indexed that exact term, or found that exact term, and in turn, that's why we get that result. Let's look at our next operator. Single wildcard search. Let's look at exactly what this does. So in this case, I know the first 3 characters of a part number. I don't know exactly what I want, or maybe I want a range of them, and then I know the last 2. Notice how the single character wildcard replaces any of the objects essentially in the 4th position. 3, 8, so on and so on. Good to maybe get a range of objects. You also have the ability to use multiple wildcards in this scenario. Again, let's take a look at exactly what it does. In this case, I have 2 single character wildcards. Quite a bit different results from a number standpoint, and you can see the difference. This is single character wildcard 1 and then multiple. Multiple character wildcard. This time it's done with an asterisk, and again, pretty straightforward. Pretty much the same result as our single character when we use 2 of them, but in this case I only have to put in a singular asterisk. There's my results. Let's go back and look at that a little different way. Let's look at it from an attribute standpoint. In this case, I want anything that comes in front of soft. Well, I know that I have a customer from an attribute standpoint that is Microsoft. I hit my search button. Notice how I get anything in this case that is in front of soft, which in this case is Microsoft. So we've covered OR, exact match or quotes, single character, singular and multiple, and then multiple character wildcard. Let's cover some different ones. This one is called fuzzy search. And fuzzy search is a pretty unique type of search. I have 2 different fuzzy searches and I'll go through both of them. Okay, so just to kind of set this up, I have a document called team list. So what I'm getting the search to do, and in this case, what a fuzzy search does is that it will alter the term that you're looking for based on the number that you put behind the tilde or fuzzy. So I know that I had to put in TEA, and if I put in fuzzy 1, it will put in a character, a singular character, and try to find a match from that point. Let's see what we get. See how it added in the M and was able to find a result or a search result from that. Let's look at it in a little bit different way. Maybe clarify that a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm going to use, I have fuzzy 2, doesn't mean I'm going to use 2 in it, but you'll get the point here in just a second. In this case, I have TE fuzzy 1. So I'm only allowing the search to inject one character somewhere either in front of the T, in between the T and the E, or after the E. In this case, because I'm only allowing the search to put in one character, notice how I get no result. Fairly unique type of search. All right, getting close to being halfway done with the operators. Let's look at a few different ones. The operator of AND. We call it Boolean searches. So I have Boolean AND. Let's look at what it does. I want two attributes, Omaha and aluminum 6061. I do my search. Any object that is Omaha specific and aluminum 6061. We've already done OR, but let's do it again. Boolean OR. I want attributes Omaha and Kansas City. Come out of the same attribute, but anything Omaha and Kansas City. We've done that before, but just wanted to refresh it. Let's do something a little bit different. How about not? What does not do? I want Omaha as an attribute, but not aluminum 6061. What does that result give me? See how it gives me everything that's in Omaha, that's made in Omaha, but nothing that has aluminum 6061? Isn't it? It's an excluder idea. Now, here's a very important part. While you could get very inventive with the idea of or and or not, there is a limitation to how this works. So the idea that we're continuing on with is using multiple Boolean operators. And what I thought it was important for you to see is the wrong way to do this. Typically you see things done the right way, but here's how you should not do this. So I have a search, multiple operators the wrong way, pretty obvious. So what you cannot do using multiple Boolean operators, and, or not, I should do or, and, or not. I want everything that's made in Omaha and that's made out of a material of aluminum or stainless steel. See what we get. Notice how I get a result, but see how the result is cut off for only one material. You cannot do keyword searches with multiple operators in this sense. So how do we get that done the right way? Let's look at it the correct way. So I'm searching again for Omaha. So an index search of Omaha, but what I do is I add in criteria. And what the criteria says, I also want, so I want Omaha, and it must be aluminum 6061 or stainless steel. So we do more of a database type search instead of an index search to get the result we want. And when we're done, Omaha, stainless steel, and aluminum. This is the way that you perform multiple operator searches. You isolate it essentially from a one attribute standpoint, and then you use your criteria to separate out the rest. All right, let's continue on with the concept of a field search. So here's my field search. Let's talk about what a field is. So the way that Solr looks at Creo data or index data is that kind of like the concept of attributes within Windchill, Solr has fields. Unfortunately for us and how PTC has implemented this, only thing that you can do from a field standpoint is put in name and number. But that's okay in this scenario. If I were to put in 111411, anything that had that term would pop up. But in this case, what I'm limiting it to is the number field. So I'm isolating it to only giving a result to either name or number. When I hit the search button, I only get an object that has 111411 or that specific criteria in the search. I might have a drawing that's a different name, but because the drawing is made of the part and that information or that criteria might be indexed on the PDF and or the drawing, I don't want all that. I just want the name or the number. Now, I can also do this though. Look at this. I can though put in a range and a field. I want part numbers in range from 111411 to 111711. Sort by number. There we are. All of my parts and or drawings that are in that range. Now we could have went into the criteria and added, hey, we only want names that have .prt or .drw, but you get the idea. I can, in field searches, specifically in field searches, can put in multiple operators while I'm using field searches. So in this case, I want number from this range, that range to that range, but not that specific number. So I want a range of objects, but then I don't want this one. Now, where could you do that? What if we're releasing a packet of drawings, or we're releasing a product in some form, and manufacturing wants these numbers, but they don't want these because those are top level assemblies and all they do is want parts. Here's my result. Let's go ahead and sort, and you'll notice that I should not have that part. That's where it would be if we had actually told it to be there. Okay, the last operator that we'll use is what is called a proximity search. Now, let's go ahead and look at what the proximity search does. In this case, proximity search uses the exact search concept and the fuzzy search to give me the result. So in this scenario, the way I describe it is, let's say we have a smart description that we put in for a library of bolts. So within our description, we know that we have bolt, some sort of code, another code, and at the end of it, we have something that's pretty standard. So in this case, bolt, and what I'm saying is I want bolt and MC, but in between, I wanted to allow it to have two more terms. Let's see what the result is. Bolt, two terms, MC. Let's change that a little bit. Bolt, MC, 4. I think I skipped 3. Let's go ahead and go look at 3. Bolt, MC, 3. Essentially a fuzzy or a proximity of 3 terms. 3 and anything below. And then the last one, proximity 4. 4 terms in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything we just covered, all of these operators are based on the idea that you have advanced search turned on, and then obviously you have Solar and Windchill indexing up and running on your system. I hope this gives you a good idea around the power and the flexibility around search when you're using Index or Solar. At any point in time you have questions, whether it's setting up of Solar or Index, the concepts around our operator searches, feel free to reach out.